Yeah, it's very obvious that Enoch is the central character. He's the one that gets transported to heaven and sees all this stuff. So yeah, what else would you call it? You wouldn't call it Bob. You wouldn't call it.
Is there modern scholarship that actually believes the person Enoch in the book of Genesis actually wrote first Enoch? And then maybe to
No.
explain to us what the pseudo pographic literature is and what that actually means in the context of
Yeah,
that for our audience who's kind of foreign to that.
yeah. No, there's no evidence that the person Enoch wrote this book. I mean, you'd need a text trail for that. The oldest material we have for the Book of Enoch is third century BC. Some of the Aramaic fragments would be that old, and that is long after the time of the flood. Okay, which is Enoch is preceding that. So what you have here is it's very typical for writings in between the testaments to have writers either name a book after the principal character or name the book after a biblical figure. I guess maybe for less charitable reasons, because it's going to draw attention to their work.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of this, to use a biblical example, Joshua. Well, there isn't a verse in Joshua that says Joshua wrote it. But lo and behold, Joshua's like the main figure. So go figure. We'll call it Joshua. I mean, we don't know who wrote it, but that's the name it gets because that represents the content. Well, in Enoch's case, it's very obvious. Yeah, it's very obvious that Enoch is the central character. He's the one that gets transported to heaven and sees all this stuff. So yeah, what else would you call it? You wouldn't call it Bob. You wouldn't call it
the Book of Bob.
If only.
I don't know that would carry the same credibility.
Right. To be a little less flippant, Moses doesn't even show up. Why would we call it that? So this happens a lot in the intertestamental period, and people are familiar, with the way books sort of get their title by people who have read the stuff. And what's it about? What's that new book about? It's about Enoch. So it becomes known as the Book of Enoch. Mm-hmm. So it's not really anything strange or weird or again sinister. It's just it's sort of a convention of the period that we don't really have that because we're taught to write things and give them specific titles and whatnot. It used to be, if you've ever spent any time on archive.org, look up 1800s and the title's like 50 words long. Okay, that was the convention for that day, and we don't do that anymore. The convention just changes.